Getting laid off from your job and starting an unexpected job search is one of the most difficult things someone has to go through in their career. One day you are working your job, acting as if everything is normal. Then the next day, you get a random meeting invite from your manager. And when you go to the meeting, HR is also in attendance. And at that point, you know that you're going to get your walking papers. That's if you're lucky and have a meeting with the manager and the HR representative. Other times, especially if it's a huge layoff, you might be invited to a group Zoom call, or it might be just an email stating that your services are no longer needed and you get locked out of your computer. Both situations are unfortunate. With the rise of social media and online news of layoffs are now at the forefront, especially in the last few years. First, we had the pandemic, and now the recession, with a ton of tech companies laying off thousands of staff. The silver lining in this is that a layoff is not a death sentence in your career. And in fact, it could be a beginning of a better chapter. In a recent Forbes article, a Fortune 500 company conducted an exit poll with employees that were laid off. And they found that 80% of employees who landed new jobs were making 30 to 40% more than what they were previously making at their former job. Some were even able to double their salaries. The one thing I want you to take away from that stat is that you should not settle for less salary if you're currently unemployed. Do your proper research, whether it's going online, talking to people in the industry, talking to recruiters, so you can find the salary that is your market rate so you're getting paid what you're worth. Although layoffs are more normalized than before, and many managers and recruiters understand that layoffs do happen, you still need to tread carefully and present your layoff/employment gap on your resume and how you communicate it in interviews, because not doing it properly will get you eliminated from the company's application process. So today, I will help you strategize how to properly present your layoff/employment gap on your resume and in interviews, so you can get back on your feet quickly and start making money again. Let's start off with the resume. I tell professionals all the time, your resume is not a legal document. It is a marketing document, meaning that you do not have to include every single piece of work history on your resume. And you can also format it and present it in a way that showcases you in the best light. So when it comes to employment gaps on your resume, one tactic I tell professionals is to remove the months throughout your work history. Yes, if you're still not working, it'll still show an employment gap, but they won't know how long the employment gap has been. For example, if you got laid off in February of 2022, and as of this recording in December, that means you haven't worked in 10 months. But if you remove the months and just say 2022, they won't know how long it's been. For all they know, it could have been a couple months ago. The reason why this is important is that unfortunately studies have shown that the longer you are out of work, the harder it is to get another job. So try to minimize the duration when possible. This tactic is also good for your past career history, where you may have had a few month gap between jobs. Unfortunately, there are some stingy recruiters that will actually ask about a 2-month employment gap, which I think is ludicrous. So present yourself in the best light on your resume to avoid the unnecessary questions. Once you have properly addressed your employment gap on your resume and you start getting interviews, the recruiter will 100% ask you what happened at your last job. Most professionals get nervous when they get asked this question, even though they know it's coming. They'll either make something up or try to cover it up and make it not a big deal. The problem with this approach is that the recruiter will know if you're trying to hide something or dodge the question. This leads to distrust, and the recruiter will reject you. The best approach to answering this question is to be brief and honest. Remember that the recruiter has already looked at your resume, so they know that there's an employment gap and they still reached out to you, meaning that they do like what they see on the resume from a skills and experience perspective. So they may be asking you what happened at your last job more as a curiosity thing than an interrogation thing, as most professionals may be led to believe. So again, as long as you're brief and honest of what happened, they'll move on to the next question. So this is how you answer the question, what happened at your last job? Due to the change in company direction, there was a restructuring within the organization, and unfortunately, I was one of the many that were let go. After the layoff, I have been actively job searching for my next opportunity and have had a number of interviews, but haven't found the right fit yet. You want to mention at the end that you have been interviewing at multiple companies to show that you're in demand and that you're not just going to accept any job. You want to accept a job where you see yourself long term. Recruiters and hiring managers know that layoffs happen, even to some of the best performers at companies. So as long as you show confidence in your abilities to find another opportunity quickly, they want to ensure that you are going to choose them for your next career move. Once you explain the situation, turn the focus back on the job at hand. Do this by reiterating your interest in the role, highlighting some things from the job ad that you found interesting, such as some of the responsibilities that you'd be doing if you got hired, and showcase that the experiences and skills that you have acquired throughout your career closely align to what they're looking for in their next hire. In addition, you also want to showcase that based on the research that you've done about the company, you also be a good cultural fit as well. Most people focus so much on trying to be qualified for the position that they forget about the cultural aspect as well. So, to quickly summarize how to approach a layoff when it comes to presenting it on your resume and in interviews, the first is remove the months off your resume. In the interview process, briefly acknowledge what happened. Don't bad talk your previous company. Showcase that you're in demand by stating that you have been in multiple interviews and you're trying to find the best fit for the next chapter of your career. Then focus the conversation more on the role you're interviewing for. Reiterating your interests, showcasing the skills and experiences that you have acquired in your past roles are closely aligned to what they're looking for in their next hire, and that you would be a great cultural fit for the company. Do all these things correctly, and your layoff will become irrelevant throughout the rest of the interview process. And the focus will then become more about what skills and experiences that you can bring to the table to help solve the company's problems and make you an important asset to the company. If you found this content valuable, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Thank you so much for watching. For more content on careers, job search, and self-improvement, make sure to hit that subscribe button.